In this video, you'll see how to attach walls to floors and roofs, and how to edit the elevation profile of a wall using a sketch to create a custom shape. I have the exercise file Attach Walls open, and looking at the end of the building here, we can see we have a podium and there's a ramp coming down to the site. Zooming in a bit closer, we can see that we have a wall that's following the side of the ramp that we'd really like to be on the underside of the ramp, and in that way we could place a railing to act as a safety rail instead. In order to attach the wall to the underside of the floor, there are two ways to do this. One is the automatic way, when we're actually creating or editing the floor itself. So to show you this, if I select the floor that's making up the ramp and then choose Edit Boundary from the Modify Floors ribbon tab, so now we don't need to make any actual changes to the floor boundary. We can just click Finish Edit Mode, and then we'll be asked a question about attaching to floor. And this question is asking if we would like the walls that we can see highlighted behind the question here to attach to the underside of the floor that we're editing. So we'll click Attach, and now we can see that these walls follow the line of the floor and go up to its underside. And now any changes that we make to the floor, so if I select this, and we can use the Modify Sub-Elements from the Modify Floors ribbon tab, and we'll select the two edges at the bottom here which are slightly too high, and from the options bar we'll change the elevation to -8 feet. And once we apply that, we can see that the floor changes its height, and now as the walls are attached to the underside of the floor, we can see that they follow along. We can also do this manually on a wall-by-wall basis. So to show that happening, on the area of the tower over here, we'll create a roof, and then we can attach the walls to the underside of the roof. So to create the roof, I'll first open the floor plan roof, and then we'll zoom into the area of the tower at the bottom of the screen. And then from the Architecture tab, under the Build panel, we'll choose the Roof by Footprint tool. Now we'll create a circular roof, so we'll change the sketching tool to be a circle, and then we'll snap to the center of the walls, and then we'll set the radius to be 50 feet. And now we'll draw a slope arrow to create the actual slope of the roof. So from the center here, we'll draw out at 45 degrees to meet the edge of the roof. And then we'll just use the grip to drag the center end back out to the edge on the opposite side so that it stretches across the entire roof. We'll leave the settings for the slope arrow as they are default, being 10 foot height offset from the head, and then we'll click Finish Edit Mode to actually create the roof. So now we'll swap back to the 3D view, and we can see that we've got the roof created, although it is slightly too low. So whilst it's still selected, from the Properties palette, we'll change the base offset from level to 5 foot just to move it up slightly. So now we're ready to attach the walls to the roof. So I'll select the top walls here, and using the Control key we'll select multiple walls. And now from the Modify Walls ribbon menu, we can see we have the Attach Top Base tool. So I'll click this, and then looking at the options bar, we can see we have the options to attach either the top or the base of the wall. So we'll leave this set to top, and then we'll just select the roof for the walls to be attached. And now looking around, we can see the walls extending up to the underside of the roof. And as they're attached, if we make any changes to the roof, that will be reflected in the walls. So we'll select the roof, and then from the Modify Roof ribbon tab, we'll choose Edit Footprint. Then we'll just select the slope arrow, and we'll change the height offset at tail to 20 feet. Now we'll click Finish Edit Mode. Now we can see the slope of the roof has been changed, and the walls that we attached have followed this change. We can also edit the shape of walls manually by changing their profile. So looking over here by the stairs and the vehicle ramp, we can see we have some walls that are sticking above the ramp itself. And ideally, we want the wall to follow down the line of the ramp, but we need it to be slightly offset above the ramp. So therefore, using the Attach tool wouldn't achieve the result we're looking for, as that will attach it to the underside of the floor. So to change the slope manually, from the Modify Walls ribbon tab, we'll choose Edit Profile. This takes us to a sketch mode, and we can see the shape of the wall in elevation as a sketch in the view. So all we need to do now is to sketch the line at the top of the wall, which is going to follow down the ramp. So to do this, I'll use the Pick Lines sketching tool, and then from the options bar, I'll set an offset of 1 foot. And now we'll come over to the top of the ramp, and just picking on that, it will create a sketch line that is 1 foot above that ramp. So now we just need to tidy up the sketch, so using the Trim Extend to Corner tool from the Modify menu, we'll click on the lines to create the corners that we need. So now we have the new shape sketched in, we'll click Finish Edit Mode, and now we can see the original shape of the wall, which is still defined, but now when I deselect this, we can see that the wall itself is following down the ramp just 1 foot above it. So I'll repeat this for the wall on the opposite side of the ramp, and this time, rather than click Edit Profile from the ribbon tab, double click on the wall, as this will also take us into the Edit Profile tool. So we'll repeat the process. I'll choose Pick Lines from the sketching tools, but this time I'll leave the offset to 0, and instead of picking the line of the ramp itself, I'll actually choose the top of the wall that we created opposite, and this line will then be projected into the profile of the wall that we're editing. So now once again, we'll use our Trim Extend to Corner tool to tidy up the sketch, and then click Finish Edit Mode, and we have a similar result to the one on the opposite side of the ramp. So lastly, on the wall by the stairs, we'll need to draw this in manually, so really we want this to follow down the slope of the stairs and then continue on at around 3 feet from the floor. So we'll select the wall, and then from the Modify Walls ribbon tab, we'll choose Edit Profile. We'll start to draw a line, so if I come over to the vertical edge here, and then I can type in 3 feet on this temporary dimension and then sketch the horizontal line in. Then I'll use the Pick Lines tool once again, and we'll set the offset in the options bar to be 3 feet. So then we'll click on the support by the side of the stairs to create a line that's 3 feet offset from there. And then finally we'll use the Trim Extend to Corner to clean up the sketch. So now that we have that sketch completed, we'll click Finish Edit Mode, and we can see now we have the changed profile of our wall.